What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Pee Wee the Plug, 1/4 through the wire, #1 Knicks fan in the world, aka Mr. Know-It-All, and I'm back with some more NBA talk for y'all. But before we dive into that, I do want to remind the new viewers and new subscribers that don't already follow me on social media to make sure you follow me on Twitter at Pee Wee the Plug and Instagram at Pee Wee the Plug HOH. And the reason I'm saying that is because I do things like I did last week, which I put a poll up between 4 teams. And I asked the people which team would they want to see me rebuild on the NBA 2K21 series that I'm going to start. And after a few days, the Orlando Magic was decided by the people. So for all of y'all that don't follow me, but are viewers or new viewers, make sure that you follow me so that you can be a part of those questions or polls or whatever, or just to get exclusive information or details, or just to be a part of the community rather than just on YouTube. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter just for more information. But to get in today's video, it's not about 2K. It has nothing to do with the Orlando Magic, but it's about myself and you know, the NBA media, as you can tell by the title, which I am a part of, and maybe there's some viewers that are part of the NBA media. You never know these days because the internet has made everything so different. But earlier this week, you know, I was seeing things between Russell Westbrook, his wife Nina Westbrook, and Stephen A. Smith, and there was dialogue going back and forth. You know, and Russell Westbrook kind of responded to it, not directly, not indirectly, but just basically saying that for him, everything that the media holds weight to, it doesn't really matter to him. You know what I mean? Like, if he can win a championship, great. But a championship isn't going to make or break who he is. You know what I mean? He feels like he's a champion just because of, you know, reaching this point and surviving and overcoming the things that he's overcome in his life. And a lot of people may think that that's cliche or corny or whatever. But I mean, I believe that it's real. But that's a little bit more deeper than what I want to speak about in this video. Because I think some of the stuff that Russell Westbrook and Stephen A. Smith both said creates a good dialogue to have for people that's a part of the media. And my stance in today's video is basically saying that I'm a believer that the media, including myself, sports media, basketball media specifically, we need to do better in championing and praising and uplifting our players of the league. And again, I'm saying championing and crowning, uplifting, and, you know, supporting our players. I'm not talking about kissing ass. I'm not talking about holding them accountable. I'm not talking about holding them responsible. I'm not saying that we can't criticize them. I'm not saying that we can't talk about their game and their flaws. I'm not talking about that. But when I say champion a player, it's like the other words, which is uplifting and calling it what it is, and giving our players ways to win. Because what I feel like the media has started to do over the few years, or over the course of the years, is we've made ways to where these players can't win. And what I mean by that is, like, it's so great to have this conversation right now because of everything that just happened recently. But like the Brooklyn Nets, for instance, and Blake Griffin even made comments kind of like, not like Russell Westbrook, but he made interesting comments. He was talking about when he joined the Brooklyn Nets, you know, he can't believe everybody's making a big fuss about it because over the last 2 years, all he heard was that he sucked. So it's like, it's people are contradicting themselves. You know, it's contradictory. It's like, you're telling me I suck, you know, over the last 2 years, but now I'm joining the Nets, and now you're whining about it, but I thought I sucked. And I feel him on that. I do believe that the Brooklyn Nets are going over hard with the players and everything, but I mean, he's making a good point. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it kind of is similar to what Russell Westbrook is saying, and it goes to what I'm saying. Like, the media, as I was saying before I got to Blake, the media has made it to where players can't win. So all they do, especially primetime TV media, and I'm guilty of it. You know what I mean? We've all been guilty of it to some extent. I think primetime TV guys do it a lot and are a lot worse with it. But I think we've all, you know, fell victim to doing this before. But we talk about these championships, and we create this championship standard, which we make players who don't have championships feel like they aren't shit, which is incorrect, because a championship is nice to have on your resume, but a championship, it isn't everything. As much as we play the sport to win, and we champion and crown a champion every single season, and we stress how important it is to win because it's the ultimate goal, but at the same time, we don't shed enough light on the fact that you can still be a great legendary player without having a championship. It's been done. It's been done. And when you really break it down and you speak factually, like it's impossible for everybody to win one. Like if you just do the science on the lifespan of we're not even talking about just a regular NBA player, but if we do the career lifespan of an NBA player, it's impossible for all of them to win one. Like an all-star MVP, all-star NBA player. It's literally impossible. So now, because we've made it seem like it's championship or you're a failure or you're not shit or, I can't say this about him until he wins a championship. He's good, but I can't say this about him, or I can't give him that much credit because he hasn't done this and that. And it's almost always a championship, right? Nobody's like, he doesn't have X amount of all-star. It's a championship. Oh man, he's good, but is he a top 5? Because he doesn't have a champ. I was there when LeBron James first came into the NBA. I was there the first 7 years of Cleveland when everybody talked about how great he was, but he doesn't have a championship. So now the fact that y'all make it all about a championship or all about championships, what does LeBron James do? He listens to y'all because all of these players want validation. You know what I mean? All of them want the validation. They can say they don't give a damn. They can say whatever, but validation, you put in all those hours, you want the validation. So when LeBron hears it, because they're humans just like us, what does he do? He puts himself in the best position to go not only just win a championship, but win a bunch of them. So now it's like, shit, I'm gonna not only get one, I'm gonna get a bunch of these motherfuckers. So he goes to Miami. Now he goes to Miami, and what's the media do? The media is trashing that. Oh man, now you're selling out. But he's only doing it because y'all said that he needed that championship. So it's like it's contradictory. You know what I mean? You want him to win a championship, but you don't want him to win it like that. But then if he stays on his team that never wins and isn't the best way to win, you're going to dog him for not winning it. So it's like it's a lose-lose for the players. And it's the same thing with Kevin Durant. Right after LeBron, the next guy was Kevin Durant. So everybody got on Kevin Durant's case. Kevin Durant is a scorer. He's an MVP. He's done everything except win a championship. I'm still waiting on him to win a championship. All of this shit is still on YouTube. If y'all ever want to go back and look at what the media was saying or how the media was acting towards some of your favorite players, if you were young or you just weren't around at the time, the shit is always there. No championship for Kevin Durant. He has to have a championship. All of these other, the greats, they all have a championship. So, what does Kevin Durant do? He goes to the Golden State Warriors and gives himself the best chance to win. And then what did the media do? We all trash him. He took the easy way out, which I was one of those people. I agreed it. But now, years back, I look and I see why a guy like Kevin Durant did that. Because all of the media kept making the championship shit such a big deal. So he says, you know what? I'm going to win a championship. And just like LeBron joining Heat, I'm actually win a few. I think both of the scenarios are different with context, but it's the same shit. They both heard about them being so great, but it was always a but, or I can't put him here because he doesn't have the championship. So they both was hearing that, and they both went to situations where it was like, I'm going to win a championship. So now that's what the league has become. That was the early 2000s. You know what I mean? That was the early 2010s. Now we get into the point where everybody is seeing it, besides a few people. I think Russell Westbrook was extremely loyal to the Oklahoma City Thunder. He stayed there as long as he could and tried to make that happen. I think Damian Lillard is being extremely loyal to the Portland Trail Blazers. But yeah, we got this buddy up type of thing in the league, and now we're seeing it present time with the Brooklyn Nets. Everybody's going to the Brooklyn Nets that can go. Shout out to Drummond. Drummond didn't go, but he ain't like he went to, he went right to the Lakers, which is essentially, it's not as bad as the Nets, but shit, the Lakers are the championship winners of last year, and they're playing with LeBron and AD, Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, who competed against each other for a six-man a year. They're a stacked team as well. So people are just joining and hopping ships because the media has made and stressed this championship shit so much, and it's so important that it makes everybody want to do sellout type things to go get one. Well, we should champion players of saying, listen, championships are important. We don't even need to say that. That's why the guys put in as much hours as they do to be the best and to ultimately compete for the ultimate goal, which is to win one. But if you don't win one, you can still be a legend. You can still be a great player and a Hall of Fame player and one of the best players at your position. You can't tell me that Chris Paul isn't a winning player because he doesn't have a championship. He's legitimately won more in his career than he's lost. You can't tell me that Carmelo Anthony is a losing player just because he doesn't have a championship when he legitimately has won more in his career than he's lost. Legitimately, you look up these numbers and you look how much these guys have won compared to how much they've lost. And these are guys who have teams built around them. These were high lottery picks who went to bad organizations and teams were built around them and they carried them. I think Melo's first 10 years in the league, he made the playoffs. First 10 years in the league, I think he missed the playoffs for the first time with the trash ass Knicks. No bullshit, but you let the media tell you, or you let some of these media people on social media now, they're going to portray Melo, Chris Paul as guys who aren't as successful, or guys who aren't this, or I can't put him here because he does. All that is bullshit. Now, obviously, the more championships you have as a star player or one of the best players in the league, the more it's going to help your resume. There's no argument there. But to what extent does it matter? I would rather a player go out like Damian Lillard or go out like Allen Iverson or some of my favorites and just don't have a ring. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking now, Allen Iverson doesn't have a ring in his career, but his one appearance in the early 2000s against the Los Angeles Lakers when Philadelphia played them and won the first game in LA, which is the game he stepped over Tyronn Lue. The Sixers lost that finals. Allen Iverson doesn't have a ring from that. But that appearance, just that appearance, is going to hold more weight than some of this generation's players who actually have rings. Because you look how Allen Iverson did it. He didn't sell out. He didn't run away. He had fucking Aaron McKee, Eric Snow, old ass Mutombo, and like he just went out and he hooped. They got there. He put it all on the floor. He came up short because in this sport, that's what happens. That's what happens. But what you do is you train, you work, and you give it all to be the best that you can be, and you live with the results. You just live with the results. There's a lot of players that aren't going to win. You look at the 96 Bulls, you look at the 90 whatever Bulls, because they won so mmany. You look at any of those Bulls when they had those runs and the three-peats. Dog, there's a lot of Hall of Fame players that aren't going, legitimately, factual wise, if you break down the numbers, if one team wins 6 in a 10-year span, how the hell are a lot of these other people? No, everybody's not going to get one. So with us knowing that, why are we holding? I know championships are important. I don't want this video to make it seem like I'm saying championships are pointless, because they're not. They can definitely add to a resume, especially the best of the best players. It only helps them. But it's important to also recognize that there's some damn good players that ain't got one, and there's going to be some damn good players that won't get one. And we should continue to say that. Let that be known so that we don't have these Brooklyn Nets situations, so that we don't have everybody trying to run to one or two teams. I remember when I was around when Kevin Durant made the tweet, like, damn, what happened when everybody was competitive? Everybody wanted to play for the Heat, Lakers, and blah, blah, blah. Now, I remember when he made that tweet, and now we got everybody trying to play for the Nets. Man, if he gets bought out, the Nets are going to be one of his options, or the Nets or the Lakers or the Clippers. And it's like, what happened to that energy of like? But I don't blame the players. I blame the media for putting it out there that these championships are held that high. But then it's like, now that guys are going to get some, they won't even mean that much. You know what I mean? They won't even. So we're putting our players in a lose-lose situation. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. I don't have no reason to hate towards a player or not support a player, but it's just the facts. Like, the more and more these guys team up, the less and less valuable those rings become. Like, I get it. A ring is a ring. It'll be in the history books forever. But we're going to know. You know what I mean? And 20 years from now, the internet, because the internet exists, it ain't like when we first were growing up where it wasn't internet to capture things. our kids and our people of the future, they're going to be able to capture the context with some of these championship rings because they're going to have YouTube to refer to. They're going to see videos. They're going to see old tweets. They're going to see the reaction from things. We're capturing everything in this generation. So it's not going to be like, oh, in 20 years, won't nobody care? Be talking about that. I don't believe that. I think they will, because they'll have all of these YouTube videos. They'll have all of these tweets and all of these documentaries, and there's just too much information being captured and stored for the context of what's going on to ever be lost in the future. You know, it isn't like trying to translate the feeling. You know, like in the 70s, it's hard for us to feel and capture the context that was going on in the 70s because we don't have that much information from there. We just have stats and results, but we don't have video footage of interviews, and we don't have analysts making YouTube videos or on all of these sport channels and platforms to speak and really let us know what's going in and the outrage. We can't feel it. But because of the generation we're in, we're capturing everything in podcasts and tweets and Instagrams and TikToks and all of these basketball shows now and all of these different platforms where people have voice, the media, you know, it's much more bigger and amplified than it's ever been. You better believe in 20 years, people will be able to feel the context of what's going on in all of these situations. So I just want going forward, the media, myself included, to do a better job of uplifting our players, supporting our players, and giving our players ways that they can win. Because we have special talents like Russell Westbrooks, like Chris Pauls, like Damian Lillards, you know what I mean, who may not win a championship. But those are special talents that we should still appreciate, support, and champion instead of making them feel like they can't win. Oh, here it is. I'm Russell Westbrook. I've done the triple-doubles. I've had the MVP. But I don't have a ring, so now what do you suggest Russell Westbrook do? He should go dick hop and just try to get on any team to ring chase? He shouldn't, because that ring probably won't mean a lot of shit. It probably won't. And we're not talking about guys in year 18 on their last leg trying to be a part. We're talking about guys who still have basketball left, jumping on different teams. You know what I mean? Like Blake Griffin on the Nets. It's, you know, with James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin has a lot of basketball left. You know what I mean? He has a lot of basketball left. He has a good basketball left. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough because I see the players and I see their perspective, because it's like, hey, according to y'all, I suck. So it shouldn't be no big deal. And I also see players like, hey, y'all told me a championship was that important. So now I'm going to make it so important that I'm going to guarantee myself to go get one, because y'all said it was that important. And now that they do that, rightfully so, here comes the media, myself included, saying, hey, that championship don't really mean shit. But it's like, wait, you just told them how much they needed one, and they made it as important as you made it to go get one, and now you're saying that's not good. So instead of doing that, let's champion guys and say, hey, man, put it all on the floor. You put yourself in position as a player to train and be the best player you can be, to ultimately compete for that goal and to win that thing. But if you don't, you can still be a great player. You can still be top this, top that, and you can still be a legend and a Hall of Famer, because history shows us. You know, my mind is going. Charles Barkley doesn't have a ring. Reggie Miller doesn't have a ring. Allen Iverson doesn't have a ring. Tracy McGrady doesn't have a ring. You know what I mean? Malone and Stockton don't have rings. There's, you know, long list of legendary Hall of Fame players, some of the best, that don't have rings. It just happens that way. And when you look at teams and franchises throughout the NBA, it's very lopsided. It's the reason why the Celtics and the Lakers have majority of them. And that's why a lot of the players who have played there have them. LeBron and AD have them as Lakers. Shaq, Kobe, Jerry West, Kareem, Worthy, Magic, Cooper. I mean, those players play for a team, and a franchise is predominantly going to win them. So because a player, you know, is drafted to, I don't know, the fucking Oklahoma City Thunder, you know, how can we really be mad at Kevin Durant? Or because LeBron goes to Cleveland, which isn't like this championship thing, how can we expect him to stay if all we talk about is championships, and then we get pissed when he goes to LA? Of course he's going to go to LA. Look at their history and look at the culture. They're going to win the championship with him there. LA shows you that if you're one of those top supreme players, if you go and play there in somewhat of your prime, you're going to get a ring. You're going to get a ring. But we don't. We talk about these players. He's this, he's great, he's that. And it's always followed by a but when they don't have the championship. And then the minute they put themselves in a position to get a championship, we harp on them because of the decision that they made. And he's a sellout. But he only sold out because you, the media, made the championship that important. So I'm just hoping that we can stop it. Because I like when we have like super teams, but I also think it should go to a certain extent. You know what I mean? It just looks silly when everybody's trying to join on one team, especially when you have and then you but it's tricky because you can't fault the team. I don't think the Brooklyn Nets or the Lakers should start telling people, no, you can't come here. We're too good. Like, no, any team that can keep getting better, they're going to get better. You know what I mean? Like, duh, who isn't? But you want to see more sense of pride. You want to see more people having pride and not joining up. But I think that would only change if the media and the narrative change about the importance of winning, or how important is winning. Is winning important enough to sell out? You know what I mean? Is winning important enough to, take easy ways out? I don't think so. I don't think anybody in the media would agree. I don't think some of the old players would agree. I don't think some current players would agree, which is why we see some players like Damian Lillard being as loyal as they are. Because it's like, I would rather lose the right way than to win the wrong way. And, but everybody ain't built like that. So we'll see. That's just my 2 cents on the situation. I know y'all love basketball talk. I was putting some tweets out there. A lot of people was agreeing. I'm like, hey, let me make a video on it, go even more in depth. And then it allows everybody to actually hear it and understand exactly what I'm saying. And hopefully this can hit some people in the media, and we can start having more conversations about it to change the narratives and the ways that we go about these things, so we can start having competitive basketball and making our game a way that the players, the most important people, feel championed, feel appreciated, feel uplifted, because they are the most important thing. They're more important than the coaches, they're more important than the owners, they're more important than the fans, they're more important than the media. We all play our role and have a sense of importance, but without the players, none of us matter. Without players, I can't be a fan of the Knicks. Without players, I can't be a part of the media to cover. Without players, the owners can't have a team to own. So we got to put our players in situations where they can win and not be in these lose-lose situations. So, as always, I'm your guy, Pee Wee the Plug. Appreciate you guys, especially y'all that made it fully through the video. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and leave a like. Let me know y'all opinions and what y'all think. If y'all agree, if not, let me know why. Because I don't know why anybody would disagree, but if you do disagree, please let me know why in the comments. Or if you just have 2 cents, your own 2 cents. If you agree wholeheartedly, if there's nothing to disagree with, I still want to know y'all thoughts and y'all feedback. As always, I will see y'all next time.